I am taking a break from Miss Girl over here. She is putting my hands through it. But I thought it would be fun to show women why you should remain single and stop dating men. So let's just read this thread, right? It's from Rachel Rules the World. I'll put it on here so you can go read the thread yourself. She goes, women, has a man ever purposely distracted you or ruined something you were doing for no reason? Ruined a puzzle, been loud when you were sleeping, messed with your food, distract you while you were reading, writing, called you repeatedly while you were out with friends, etc. Please detail instances below. And oh my gosh, there's 274 comments and there is no good thing. It's like even the slightest thing is just like, why would you do that? It's all just ridiculous. And it's like, thank Buddha, I am still single. So the first person I see goes, not exactly what you're after, but his health would always be poor when there was cause to celebrate someone else. Birthdays, Mother's Day, school events for the kids. But he was always miraculously 100% okay for his own things. Would also refuse to dine at the dinner table because his back was sore, sitting for 15 to 20 minutes, but would sit at the same table for hours for his hobbies. And then the creator goes, no, that counts. Somebody said as a cashier, male customers would do this. When I was counting a large amount of small bills, they would start yelling numbers. Women never did this. Why do you guys feel the need to do this? Yes, my ex would deliberately pick fights right before bedtime, knowing that I have insanely bad insomnia and wouldn't sleep at all that night. I would literally wind up calling in sick the next day. He pulled this at Disney World the night before we went to Magic Kingdom. Called me 47 times while I was out at graduation with my family. Proceeded to accuse me of being kidnapped because I didn't answer. Argued with me about the rent money he had drunk away while I was trying to sleep the night before my final exam in college. That was the moment I knew I had lost that last shred of feelings for him. She continues to say they had been dying for a while, but that moment didn't make me upset. I just thought he was pathetic. Twice a year, I got to pick the restaurant, my birthday and Mother's Day. I always picked fancy cheeseburgers because they are my favorite. My ex-husband always complained, too much money for cheeseburgers. So the last year we were together, I picked the steak, his favorite place. I kid you not, he got a cheeseburger because the steaks were too expensive. It was then that I realized he just didn't want me to enjoy myself. I remember in college, the guy I was dating tore up my notes I was trying to study for an exam. Why? At my previous job, I had a work conference, 3 days. He magically got a gout flare the day I left. Last day, he claimed that he couldn't stand a walk. I was 4 to 5 hours away. He refused to call his bro, who was a paramedic, and I had to leave my conference early. When I was doing Instacart during unemployment, he would repeatedly call and call and call. Caused me to miss several batches. I eventually blocked him when I was doing Instacart. That's part one of this 2-part message, by the way. Finally got a corporate work from home job after 12 months of unemployment. Started on a Tuesday. He starts in Sunday with, I think I need to go to the emergency room. All day Monday, he's feeling bad, but he won't go. Monday night, I'm getting ready for bed, and suddenly he wants to go to the ER. I said, call your brother. He's retired and off tomorrow. You've had all day. He didn't call his bro. He instead stayed up all night moaning and kept me up. I started my new job in an hour of sleep. He slept all day. Another person, these are all just different comments. That last part was a 2-part. This one, I wanted to go to a museum. He didn't want to come. I was happier going alone. Anytime I stopped to admire something or sit and look at a painting, he said it was ugly or was garbage. I asked him to leave me alone. He kept coming back and complaining. Eventually, in a quiet room of French impressionists, I screamed, F off, only at full volume. He thought the divorce came out of nowhere. I can keep going. I left for a couple of days knowing that I would be coming home to some leftovers I was really excited to eat because I specifically saved them for when I got back. I got back, he starts cleaning out the fridge. I walk over, take my leftovers, set them aside and say, yes, I can't wait to eat this in a little while. Wasn't hungry yet. Like 20 minutes later, he finished with the fridge and I had gotten up to get something to drink. My leftovers were gone. He had thrown them away. This is not the first time he has thrown away my perfectly good food that I was fully planning on eating. Maybe not quite what you're asking for, but I'm counting it as it. Nope, that's exactly what we're asking for. Not my ex, but during law school, my friend's boyfriend, who we all despise, was threatened by her becoming a lawyer. He proposed the night before our last final, literally while she was in the middle of studying. She was too exhausted to say no. He spent the entire time she was studying for the bar exam to try to distract her with the wedding planning for a wedding she didn't even want. She dumped him right after the exam when her head cleared and she saw what he had tried to do. Every time I would visit my girlfriends out of town, he would break something of mine. Blame it on the cats. My cats were angels. And the only thing they broke was his credibility. Also stole my mail when I was applying for jobs, obviously a long time ago, so I wouldn't meet other people and better myself. My ex begged to go to a union party with me and pulled a random Irish goodbye for most of it because he was bored. So he hid and got mad I wasn't spending time with him, but socially isolating at a social event I wanted to be at. Got defeated to the point of being there, so I don't know, I just isolated. I dumped him 3 days later because he was about to do the exact same thing at a concert I've been looking forward to and paid for his ticket too. I invited my friend who was a fan of Lord Huron, I don't know if I'm saying that right, instead, and we had a blast. These are the messages that I haven't even seen yet, because the ones that I've seen I like, they're far down because people keep commenting because men just keep doing this. And it's like they just want to make your life miserable. Like every time I've seen those videos where like she said in the beginning, when he would destroy a puzzle or do something like destroy something you love, why do they do that? I never found those videos funny, because imagine you put like, let's say 30 plus hours into a puzzle and a man destroys it in a second because he just wants to, because he doesn't want to see you happy, even when it's with the puzzle. Let's keep going. Picked a fight with me long distance while house sitting my dogs while I was on vacation in Costa Rica with my son. Had to cut the vacation short because he kept threatening to abandon my dogs, and he was being so unhinged that it became too suspenseful anymore to trust him in my home and enjoy the trip. Of course, when we came home, he was like, "Why'd you come home?" Okay. I had an ex that would purposely start a huge fight the morning I was preparing to load into a market when I was starting my business, as well as any day I had off from the job. Sometimes he would take off with my inventory. He hated that I was doing something wonderful for my future that had nothing to do with him. My business took off and allowed me to quit my job when I finally broke up with him. She makes jewelry. Right before midterm examinations, final exams, major deadlines, academic conferences, etc., he would mysteriously come down with a life-threatening illness that would miraculously resolve within 24 hours. Or he would pick a massive fight that disrupted my sleep and raised my cortisol levels. My ex would pick a huge fight with me over nothing and then say he had to get away from the kids and I for the weekend to cool off. All that time he'd end up in Vegas or fishing or something with his friends. I could see it coming from a mile away. Picked the fight before big events, guilt tripped me when I couldn't go to church because I was stressed at work and I needed rest, distracted myself from reading, drawing, pulled all my earphones out while I was listening to music, guilt tripped me again because I listened to some rock music and read a fantasy book, got mad when I wore jeans and not ankle-length skirts. All one person. My cousin's husband attempted to ruin our first girls' night in years by using weaponized incompetence. We hadn't even made it from the house to the restaurant when he called and was like, "Where's the peanut butter?" She wants a peanut butter sandwich. My cousin is like, "I don't know, look around." Her husband starts doing a whole talking real fast. "Well, I don't know what we're gonna do. She wants peanut butter." Dude is a doctor. Use that critical thinking. This is just like getting me so annoyed. I was working on a puzzle quietly. I was pregnant at the time. He knew I was mad at him for whatever reason, probably because he was out drinking and flirting with a woman. I was just minding my own business and he just didn't think I was entitled to be mad at his horrible behavior. So he messed up the puzzle and he was still mad that I was mad. Years ago, I had toddlers, full-time job, constant chaos. One day, my mom watched the kids so I can clean, reorganize the kitchen, threw away lids without containers and containers without lids, rearranged for better efficiency, etc. I felt so good when it was done. When I got home from picking up the kids, he had pulled the lids of the containers out the trash and moved everything back to where it was. He never used the kitchen. Pure control, and one of his examples of how our house was in his mind and that it was his. My ex used to act like I should be awake if he's awake. He'd yell my name and slam the lights on. He'd leave the door open while he used the coffee grinder and get the kettle going. He'd play his D&D podcast, MTG videos, or music so loudly in the morning while I was in bed. When I used to work nights, it drove me crazy, and I asked him to either play it lower or wear headphones. He got annoyed but would at least wear headphones. Like, my ex used to list random numbers when I was trying to count while crocheting. Oh my gosh. All of these are driving me so crazy, but that would drive me crazy. I'm scrolling through them. The one that I remember was a girl said when she was reading, her ex would put his head between her and the book. Now, why would you do that? And then another one, I had to comment and be like, "Girl, he was abusing you." She said that he was doing a lot of things, but the thing that she can give a pass on was he had night terrors and would attack her in his sleep. I'm like, girl, he didn't have no night terrors. He just wanted a way to attack you without it coming off as, oh, domestic abuse. Because he could say, "Oh, well, you know, I have night terrors." She said he punched her in the back of the head. He got on top of her and started choking her. And I'm like, girl. And she said even that moment, he kind of seemed like a little bit more awake than he was. I'm like, yeah, because he wanted a reason to hit you and hurt you without it being domestic abuse. And I had to put in her, girl, he did not have any, night terrors or anything. He just wanted to hurt you. Please. My ex kept me awake when he was angry with me. He picked fights on any occasion that brought me joy, and especially ones that were centered around me. He would pick fights about me reading or being on my phone while he was watching TV because he wanted me to watch what he was watching. That hit close to home. He would force me to eat by guilt tripping me and always had to eat what he wanted. Again, hit close to home. He called anything I enjoyed stupid and made fun of me for expressing any joy or excitement. Did I write this? Because, oh my gosh. While I was working on my college course, he came into the room and sat next to me scrolling Facebook reels. At max volume, I would move everything I need to another room and he would follow. When I asked him where he was planning to be so I could set up my homework somewhere quiet, he told me that I made him feel like he was in the way and I was the problem. I would have been like, yes, yes you are. There was a Golden Girls pop-up restaurant in New York City and I got tickets to go with my girlfriends. My son was 3 and I hadn't been out in months. Of course, the night before, he gets a stomach virus, so I couldn't go. I was so disappointed, so my ex said that he'd get the tickets for me and we'd go when my son felt better. When we got there, I was so excited. It was like being in Blanche's house. But I can't curse on here, but he basically just pooped on everything. How cheesy it was, how the food was bad, how loud it was, ruined it for me. I'm gonna say this too. If your kid suddenly gets sick every time you want to do something, yeah, they're poisoning the kids. And I know that might sound like a little bit far-fetched, but you tell me every time you want to enjoy something, your kid is sick, they're doing something to the kids so you can stay home. And that's crazy because they hate that you have free time more than they love their kids. It's so strange. But I think I'm gonna stop here because I'm getting so annoyed. Not all men, but usually a man. So women, I say this for the safety of our mental and our physical health. Stay single. There is nothing to rush into. These men suck. There is nothing to rush into. If you find somebody and fall in love and it's natural and you guys are equals, that's fine. But don't just get in a relationship because you think it's better out there. It's horrible out there. It's tragic, actually. And they do a lot of these little things so it can seem like, oh, well, it's not that bad. They do it so they can control you. Stay single. Please, let them suffer. And if any man who watches this gets offended by what I'm saying, good. Because if you get offended, it means that you've done these things or you will do these things. A man who won't get offended by this is a man that never done any of these things and won't do it because they're just normal. Okay, bye.